Previously on the Angular presentation, we were talking about how I created this really lame thing that shows you hamburgers and chicken nuggets, like this, but we wanted to animate it. Animation is like really hard, right? And before you think I'm a total sleazeball, I just want to show you just how hard it is. I'll refresh it. Oh, that's it. That was it right there. Did you catch that? Did I go too fast? Should I retype it? Here, let's type it again. Let's just do this here. In case you missed that, it was kind of fast. We'll just do that again. The hardest part is typing these quotation marks in the right order. Okay. Oh, look at that.
Why is it so choppy?
Because I stole my transitions from a Nacho Libre demo of NGAnimate, which you'll probably find if you Google for NGAnimate tutorials, and it's got this really wonky Bezier curve, but I'm like, oh, whatever. Okay, so a couple of things. First of all, every NGAnimate demo I've seen, it goes just like I just did. And they're like, look how amazing NGAnimate is. Just type NGAnimate and everything's done, right? But they're lying to you. They don't mean it bad. They're lying to you. So, oh, what'd you do?
You're wandering a lot, so I'm changing it.
Oh, but it's not. We're not using that anyway.
Oh, yeah, but it's still fun to pretend.
Could you come back up and do some more tinkering?
No.
Okay. Oh well. So this is how that works. So should I type that again? Because it was. Oops.
Why do you need the single quote inside?
Yeah, I don't know. I just pattern matching. Just kidding. I know the answer. The reason you need the single quote is because you could also do this, and that could come from a dynamic variable, which is pretty cool. So that's actually a string literal that I was writing inside of the attribute. So anyway, that's kind of cool, don't you think? Let's look at what's actually going on here. So one of the things that I found to be the hardest about CSS3 animations is that when you set up all these beautiful transitions in your CSS, your JavaScript, which is basically responsible for telling those to start, has a really hard time of knowing when they're done, right? Because they're so detached from each other. And there's all these DOM events that fire and things that you can catch, but it's kind of a lot of work to catch all those, right? Especially if you're in a world where you're trying to distance your JavaScript from the DOM as much as possible, which we all are trying to do. So NGAnimate's promise is to make that easier. So let me show you what some of this, I'll just show you all of it. So here's the animation styles. And if you're using a real, a decent CSS manager like Less or Sass, you wouldn't have to write these 4 times. But the real key is just one of these lines. They're all the same. I just lifted this animation transition. You can see it's a half a second. But I just wanted you to, I wanted to slow it down so you can see what's really happening under the hood here. Because I think this is actually really cool. Here comes our 10-second burger. It's like 3, 2, 1. The eagle has landed. Right? Yep, here come the chicken nuggets. Right? Let me show you what's actually happening under the hood here. This is the really cool part, I think. This is the inside of our ng-switch statement. And normally with ng-switch, you would only have one element at a time. And right now we do. We're at rest. Right? See that one element, that one image element? Angular puts in these little comments to let you know where it pulled stuff out of the DOM. So I don't think it actually uses these to put stuff back in, but it's a nice reference marker for you to know there could be other stuff here. Watch what happens here. So look at this. We have this image, ng-switch when, source equals, and then Angular puts class equals ng-scope all over the place for its own internal management. But watch what happens when I bring in the burger. Look at, you only have 10 seconds to see this as they fly in and out, but look at the classes that are on the 2 images as one's coming in and one's coming out, okay? Look at this. So we have slide enter setup, slide enter start, slide leave setup, and slide leave start. It's kind of hard to say. Okay, and then it finished. And look, what Angular just did for you is it added the classes when things are coming in and removed them when things are done going out, and the state in between. So for every exit and entrance, you have 2 states. Let me just do this again so you can see what they are. So you have slide leave setup, slide leave start. That was the guy going out. Slide enter setup and slide enter start. That was the guy coming in. Okay. And if you look over here at my CSS rules, you can see for my two transitions, I did enter and leave setup. And then I did all of, those are just the transitions, and then all of the actual positioning happens down here. Okay, these are pretty basic. But the general rule, they actually have this naming convention. So the word slide is mine. I wrote that right here. That was my ng-animate directive. I said, I want you to animate this and use slide as the base CSS class for all the animations. So then ng-animate said, okay, then I'm going to assume that there is a user's name, enter setup. There is a, let me put this in comments, it doesn't. There is a leave setup, right? And you only actually have to do 2 of those if you want. No, you must specify the CSS and. I'm not sure I understand the question. Could you restate it?
You have the ng-animate token that's inside of the contract.
Yeah, that is a directive.
That's what I just asked.
So is the answer yes? Is that the answer? Is that an acceptable? Yeah, the ng-animate directive is built-in, is an Angular built-in directive.
I didn't word it right.
Got it. Okay.
So ng-animate just,
Right.
just manages these classes.
Exactly.
That's it.
That's what it does. But what's cool about it is it also inspects your classes somehow through dark magic that I didn't discover yet. It knows how long they need to be on there based on the transition times that we wrote right here. So notice if I go back to our thing here and I change these back to a shorter time, like 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, and refresh, as I transition, watch right here for the classes. Notice how they stay in for 2.5 seconds instead of 10.5 seconds, and they go out. So you don't have to worry about the DOM events and knowing when animations start and stop. Angular does all that for you. That right there, that's really the only magic of ng-animate. That's it. There's not much else to it. But that, turns out, is really pretty powerful for expressing, it basically frees you from having to deal with all the crap of different browsers. Oh, and by the way, if you do this on IE8 that doesn't support CSS3 animations, it knows that, and it knows that it's going to have to be instantaneous instead, and it doesn't do the 2.5 second timeout or whatever you put in there. It just knows to skip it, which is pretty cool. So it just naturally falls back to unanimated transitions.
Did you,
I don't know.
same thing does in 96 and 10 works.
No, snap. In as much as in.
Like a fallback, like, hey, I don't support CSS transitions, so let's do some jQuery.
I don't know, probably. I think so. I think I remember reading something about that. Oh yeah, full disclosure. So I've been using Angular for about, I guess, about 7 months now. But I've been using ng-animate for about 9 hours so far. Well, except I also slept in those 9 hours, so like 2 hours, I guess. What's that? Is that like when I walk around droopy? Is that okay? So yeah, so like I actually put off preparing for this for a long time. So a lot of these questions I just won't know how to answer them. But I did know that, which is pretty cool about the classes. So that's really it. So the next question is, why don't they go upward when I click on something above it? And the answer is, I just don't know how to do that yet. But I do know how to do something kind of cool like this. So let's see Ember do that. Just give me some of that, Ember. I mean, in your face is all I really. Bug, feature, I don't know.
You could build a directive that has like slide tags and sliders.
Yes.
We could use Ryan's jQuery plugin.
Absolutely, and that's what I've done a lot. So right now on our production application, we're using Angular 1.0 that doesn't have ng-animate yet. So we've written a few directives, and there's a few that already exist, that you just say like, we prefix everything with HV because we work at HireVue, and we'll just say like HV slide in, and you just slap that on a div or something or any element, and you say equals whatever variable, and anytime that variable becomes truthy, then we'll call jQuery slide in on the element, and it comes just like that, and it's all unit testable too, which is pretty cool.
So I think that's actually a really good point for both converting to Angular or Ember. Is like, there's always the crutch of like,
Oh yeah,
I can just use what I've always used. Use the jQuery library.
But you can use it better, and what's really cool is not only declarative, but you can really sandbox it. I think jQuery's biggest danger is that you basically have this global like shotgun that you can fire at your whole DOM and with no restrictions, right? But if you put that inside of an Angular directive, it makes it a lot more natural for you to be able to sandbox what parts of the DOM that can operate on. And so even without ng-animate, I think it's still a huge win. I suspect Ember's got the same kind of automated shoehorning in with old stuff. So we've done that a lot. I like it quite a bit. I just wanted to do this a few more times, if you don't mind. I think, if I'm not mistaken here, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to see. Can you tell?
Yeah, there's two.
That is so crazy. So if we make it a little slower, we can really have some fun. So there's dupes.
That looks really tasty.
I know. Just imagine my mouth at the bottom of this. It's like
So have you thought about how you would
go upward.
Like just conceptually, yeah, like decide. Oh,
Yeah. So
what am I gonna do
I was
now?
sitting here last night at like 3 a.m. and I was like, I wonder what it would take to do that, and then my eyes closed. So it's like, no,
Well,
I haven't thought about it.
You said that the ng-animate can take, so you've got the quote slide in there.
Boom, that's it.
There you go.
You just nailed it. Oh, I'm so glad you came today. You're like, Ember's supposed to win. Yes. You could do this. I mean, this would be so money. In fact, ooh, should we just go for it? Should we try it? Okay, now we're gonna have to write some JavaScript. Okay. Oh man. I guess this comment's not true anymore. Okay, whoops.
So is it accurate to say that in Angular people tend to like quick and dirty competition?
Yes. We call this image to show.
Yeah.
Oh, this is gonna be crazy if it works. Scope.animation direction equals. Oh, see, now we're gonna be like, I mean, oh, we're gonna have to write CSS now. I don't want to do that. Does anyone here know how to write CSS? Because I only know how to copy it.
I do.
I'm just going to do slide up on everything for now, and what this should result in is they either slide up or they don't animate. Let's see if that. Let's test that. We're iterative here, aren't we? Okay. There you go.
Sliding
Maybe need a equals function.
Oh, how about I got a freaking. Is that what you're trying to say to me? Yeah. Thank you, Jameis. He actually has to work with me. That's amazing. Okay. Now what's wrong with my code? Tell me, tell me what to type. What's that?
You were starting at 1, so if you want to slide up, slide down.
Yeah, but I expected it to at least go unanimated, right? Maybe I should start at 2.
Oh, you're not setting image to show.
Yes, I am. It's in here.
Oh, the initial. You're not setting it in your select
Yeah.
image function.
Why do I need? Oh, thank you. I like that better. And just to make sure it's actually getting called, let's just. Okay. No animation either direction. Isn't this how? I don't know. Is this how animations work for everyone else? Like, there's 10,000 ways to make it do nothing, and there's one way to make it move. Right? I don't know. Let's see here. Back to the. All right.
If you can just do nothing but console log, like the direct supposed to be, like, then we all trust it.
Oh, well, I mean, I could do that. Like, well, watch this. Animation direction. One of the things I really like about Angular is, like, you don't need a debugger because your browser is a debugger, and you can just put stuff in there. So right now the animation direction is undefined because I haven't clicked yet, and so now I should go slide down. Oh, it didn't go up. Oh, is my logic messed up? It's only staying on slide.
And you're setting it in same
Yeah, you said this before you compare it.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that better up there. Okay.
Okay, yeah, and then it's just CSS from there.
It's just CSS. Those other guys do that. And actually, I would like to know. I would like to know why it's not doing that at all. It's just weird. I wonder if I wonder if those classes appear at all. See, if they're not even. I wonder if that expression doesn't actually work. I wonder if it's not okay to do what I said was okay to do.
Try putting the expression to something closer.
Like this, you mean?
Just replace slide down with the expression.
Let's just see. See, this isn't even working. Slide down is just like wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
You
because.
can find slide down.
So that was actually right. There we go. Well, now we can do this again for a while, which is good. Okay.
So just replace the slide out there with your braces.
Let's try this without curly braces at all. No? And you want to do this?
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to...
That's also so much.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't...
Almost there.
Yeah. I'm sure that if I had used this for more than two... Angular also eats your battery, apparently. It's like really bad for your battery. And it what else did you say it did? Oh yeah, you just slot it together. Isn't that what
charge your battery?
Yeah. I'm sure it does. It's so good. It's just so good at everything. Let's look at the... I tell you what. This is kind of an adventure. And if you guys have time and are willing to listen to me stumble, let's look at the Angular docs. And when you're looking for the ng-animate docs, you have to go to the development version of the docs, which I usually just search for by getting a keyword that's only in the development version, like this guy. So it says here, oh, yes, it's way more flexible. Compute current animation. Yeah. So you can
have that return slide up.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's try it. Just make a function call. Except.
This just needs to return in.
Yeah. Except. Oh yeah. Well, assuming that has been set, I don't know what goes first. So I think what I want to do is say scope dot last image equals scope dot image to show, right? And then I can say which direction we want to go, right? Maybe? How's that? Is this? Can I zoom out a little? Is this? I'm just not able to fit enough on the screen. Okay. Scope dot animation equals. Scope dot image to show is greater than scope dot last image. And we'll do slide. I don't know. We'll just guess. I don't know. You want to try that? Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. I'm sure it's possible. Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. But I did want to point out these docs. They have a pretty cool little example down here. But remember, ng-animate in and of itself is useless. It's only to be used in conjunction with other directives like ng-switch and, interestingly, ng-repeat. And they list here all the different ways you can use it. So here's an example. They have this really cool example at the bottom of the ng-repeat one, which I think is pretty slick. So here we have a filterable list. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. And I can type text in here, and it will filter this list down. Now, if animations are off, which they are now, and I type Peter, which you can see right down here, the list will just instantly go like that. Or, you know, if I pick a number like 2 that occurs a few times in that text, you'll see like that. But if animations are on, and I type Peter, it's pretty cool. Right? And when it comes to lists, I think that's really where ng-animate shines. You know, it's pretty cool looking that way, and that's what they always demo it with. I've seen several talks now that demo it this way. So once you've written some CSS, and I'm guessing that in the coming weeks and months we're going to see just recipes of CSS that you can just bring into your project, kind of like animate.css, which is like kind of the authoritative source for just easy transitions. We're going to start seeing easier and easier ways to just manage this. You can just paste in a little recipe in your CSS, and then slap an ng-animate attribute or a directive on your ng-repeat, and poof, you've got really cool animations. By the way, it's not trivial to set up those animation transitions in CSS. It's difficult. Things jump around a lot until you get it just right. But it seems like Angular has provided all the tools so that you can specify enough CSS to make it smooth and beautiful. So that's all I've got. But one thing I wanted to point out, though, was before we started trashing our code, just how little code this actually was, even taking into account the CSS. So you remember, this is our JavaScript. There's nothing. And this was our markup that we started with, which is, you know, like 80% just stuff you would have had to write anyway. And all of the magic came right here from that, and then this guy right here, the CSS. And that's it right there. So
For a lot of use cases.
I think many, yeah.
The most time you just fade, so like, he knows and not even worried about it.
Yeah. Right. And the cool thing about it is you fade, and then you can, you know, you can easily manage the CSS so that you know what it looks like when it's done fading, and you don't have to have timeouts in your JavaScript about when that happens. It's pretty cool. So, and then just so for reference, the rest of this code is all the stuff I copied from Ryan's site. So, the boilerplate. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, that's the only typo I've seen so far. Not bad. All things considered. So, there you go. That's all I have for you. I think you've been watching it, actually. Cool. Any other questions? That's a good question. Yeah, I actually intended to do that. Because then it would have looked, all this markup that I wrote would have looked, I mean, it would have been like, you know, slideshow, images equals, you know, some list, whatever, right? And it would have just been like, boom. It would have been really cool. I was going to do that. The answer, I think, is not very hard at all. Not very hard at all. Yep. Sure, you could totally transclude in your own stuff so that the content could be fully customizable. And you'd probably want to do it that way. Yeah, in fact, it would probably look more like this. Yeah. You're not trolling? Why would you not? No, yeah, it would probably look something like this. You can do whatever markup you want. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could do...
Go ahead and open up my Ember.
But I'm guessing they're going to end up looking awfully... Yeah. There is one caveat. The reason I didn't do that from the get-go was because I don't know a way... Well, because what I wanted to do is make it so that you could interact with it without transcluding, which means you could just pass in like image URLs as an attribute to the directive instead of having to like have a bunch of transcluded content. Like it would be just super simple. Like my original, what I was just writing would look like this. You know, you'd like throw in something like that. But imagine these are URLs, or even it could even be like a scope variable. Like sure, exactly. I mean, they could be like my URLs, you know, something like that. That's really what I wanted. And you could even say like thumbs equals my thumbnails, you know, whatever, something like that. That's what I wanted to go with. But ng switch, much like an actual switch statement, is very much a static idiom. You can't say like switch on the following dynamically generated list of things, right? It doesn't work that way. ng switch doesn't work that way either. So, because what I would have had to do internally would be something like this, you know, and do an ng repeat, but only one of them would be showing at a time. So I could have done that, and then I could have thrown ng animate on it, but I got ng switch working so fast that I just wanted to use that. And it was getting late, and then my eyes closed.
So I guess if you were here last week, the Ember one was a lot like that, where it built like it's just with static stuff, and then transclusion just yielded Ember. Slideshow and then slide elements inside. And I built one on top called Auto Slider that then use that component with this.
Yeah.
Iterate over each of the slides.
That you passed in.
Yeah, so you can do either way. You can do like static
Yeah.
with these tags or
Yeah.
just handle some.
I suspect the semantics would be pretty much identical.
Yeah.
So for your dynamic animation, I just barely just looked at it a little bit. It looks like they include that in 1.5. Use 1.14 instead of
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I've already undone all my.
At least look at it.
No.
Obviously.
Well, watch. I mean, if only we had an easy way to increase our version number. I don't know. We just should give it a shot. It's probably crazy. Yeah. I'm sure I've just screwed something up else here, but yeah. Okay. Thanks for that heads up. Yeah, because like that's an obvious question. Like, I want to animate up if we're going this way and down if we're going that way. By the way, I wanted to go back to the docs real quick. And at the end, I wanted to offer a really wet blanket caveat. But before I do that, check this out: ngView, whole page transitions. So like for actual URL navigation, just whoop, your whole page can do an animation, which I think is pretty cool. ng-include, I don't quite understand how that would work, because that's kind of like a one-time deal. But maybe it's like as the page loads, things can be fading in. Like different chunks of the page can come in. Yeah, something like that. ng-switch you saw. ng-show and hide is pretty cool because now you can just have a really easy animatable ng-show and ng-hide. Yep. Yeah, whatever you want to do. Slide in, slide down, fade in, fade out. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now, real world. I know 2 people, maybe 3, if I'm counting right, who have used ng-animate in production-like environments. And they have 100% been dissatisfied with it at some point. They've all said that it doesn't quite go, like, they're like, I need to do this, and it's like, oh, it just doesn't do that yet. But it is on the development version still, so I would expect that it's going to be coming along quite a bit. So anyway, that's what people have told me. I have not used it in production myself. But I have been using CSS3 animations pretty extensively with Angular 1.0, and I've been almost totally satisfied. There's just tiny bits of hacking that are required sometimes. So these guys can attest to that. We just rebuilt a bunch of crap with it. It's actually, I think in the net, it's been awesome. Would you guys agree? Compared to what we had before? But see, coming from jQuery spaghetti, like any framework you pick is going to be a massive win, right? And that's what we were doing. It wasn't our fault that it was like that. What's that? Do you really think? I don't know. Like even you think jQuery spaghetti to Backbone would be just as bad? In the JavaScript world, we only communicate in metaphors. Yeah. You try to cut it and it just. Okay. Any other questions? These are good questions so far. All right. Thanks, everybody. You don't have to clap again. You already clapped.
So
I would like to see you.
the next one, what are you doing?
Yeah, 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today, Jacob from Instructure is going to be presenting on JSON API. So you guys may have seen that, talking about some of that. That's it. Thanks for coming, guys. Feel free to hang out, stick around. I feel like I'm supposed to play music now. Good job. That's. Mine, I have to. You don't see it. It's like you got to throw it on and then I can remove it. Yeah, because it was so my slides they're not bad as well. You can build it. And then I have to slide. So slide. Because they publish sets transition. The data model like start. I heard that's not happening. A lot.
CSS is like an inline file or file?
Yeah, files. Yeah. So save ended throw classes and things. And throw another one on it.
Did you have
set up? Yeah, I have a set time of 0. So like you do.
So 0. You have to do one of the
You just have to throw it next to it. So the way that the express up the first class on setup. So this is you move this thing where you want it. Yeah, and then the next step is to throw the next class. Because it's at the same time, then the first one that's stuck. Yeah, so this one, and so you have to go the next step. Yeah, because you have to go on and then the next.
So Did you find yourself having to have a timeout hard coding with JavaScript and that's what timeout to go to CSS thing?
Yeah, it's in the same.
And that's the question, yeah, we've got that same problem.
Yeah, I'm concerned about how to do it.
I need to learn more. I can't imagine they're interrogating the CSS. It must be like adding a class and then catching DOM events and then
Or
magic
two
data to DOM events. Like how long it's going to
where
So I guess you can ask where the transitions are. These are long.
You can also ask like when you want to
So maybe the other stays on its positioning.
Well, Angular is responsible for everything. So we're good at
But we could.
Yeah.
See, because
Just telling the VM to restart. I'm sure already shut off.
What do we got going on here?
Oh, I'm just plugging in my computer.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, No, I'm just reserve battery power.
Because they shove, like they don't come out.
it's just in the short term creating new ones. With
Angular?
short,
Yeah.
Right. They didn't used to do that. I wonder how they're doing that now.
Yeah, so they made this brand new element, so they can do like a transition start, a DOM event, and a transition in, or DOM event.
Or they can start to get.
Yeah, and then they can plug in those. And that's why it just works. So like if it doesn't support it, it just goes immediately. Because there are no events.
So they say, well, it must be zero.
There-
That's true. They just put the final destination on it.
Yeah, they just stick the element in there, and then it'll just show. And then it'll just be away.
The style the way you want it.
It's valid, and it will do the right thing.
So what's interesting is like everything else it's almost like they go there, grab back lots of declarative stuff. And then there's like a first level behind it.
Right, it's like a list map.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's like, oh yeah, put on an NGM.
You build it.
Yeah. Just like on Facebook. Facebook React. Oh, that was fun. The demo pages. So maybe like 4 lines of code. Don't like make all those things and look semantically identical to Facebook React. That was good.
I wish I had time to directorize it and make it really cool stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, I do actually really like watching you not put stuff together.
No.
That's how I feel whenever I try to code anything.
I know. Now you know that I'm not faking.
So guys,
I'm kind of
we're hiring
interested in learning, but I don't
Yeah.
really feel that much, so.
I was like, you guys want to come see me do an Angular presentation? They're like, no.
Yeah.
Free lunch? Alright.
Question mark and cold
Can I ask
between.
you something? You were trying to figure out the
Yeah.
Oh, you want to
But I added something.
Oh, yeah. Cool. How early on were you in Mosby?
I started relatively Jacob, so it was like end of 2006.
Okay.
So not like the early, but it was like, I think I was employee for
Long enough.
So this here is.
I would have been, oh, gosh, I don't know, I ended there too, but it was like 2005.
2 slashes.
It was like, they were still selfish.
Yeah.
And, I would have been like engineering.
Inside of the regular expression, this is
It
one
was like Byron,
character.
Byron Ellis, Richard England.
Smart for Zach Wilder, right?
Yeah.
Character class.
This is one other guy. I guess I went in the spot.
Any
Yeah,
character.
first. Besides accident.
And the guy before.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
now,
left.
parent. When it appears. at-
Jacob, are you teaching her regular expressions?
Basically.
I'm sorry, because I.
She had a question about this particular regex, so I'm explaining
So
that
we
regex.
fixed a bug where you could have periods in a row name, but we didn't fix the forward
Like,
slash.
that's not where you start.
Here it is, and then everything else will seem so clear.
Can I see your regular
That was actually our right now.
So, in the character class.
So are you kind of like a JavaScript script? You just like anything
A little
it's
bit,
got
yeah.
just pops in?
It's a thinking.
Chairman, yeah.
So it's kind of a lot of fun to
Listed characters. We're going to
have to see, you know,
Oh, yeah.
So if I take this
Makes
out,
sense.
it'll be okay.
Well, this right here is
Did you
actually.
ever bring a
this
tank to work?
right here is actually.
Not to work, but we have done like, we did a company outing where we did just some like inquiry and like,
you got to shoot the tank. You brought all those other guns and stuff.
Because
This is a flamethrower too.
Wouldn't be this
I heard about
Right.
the flamethrower.
And you don't.
except whiskey.
Okay.
So like,
So this is,
So
like,
they're
this
purposely-
float
regex,
around or share around, whatever, like
Left
just
out before
giant
it's
piece of metal.
this regex not
crazy shit.
That's not important.
Push some
I need,
stuff up.
I need one character to
Some people have hobbies.
Does that make sense? Why I like stuff?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rick,
If
I
he
has a
like
World-
this.
is it a World War II?
It's probably.
Yeah,
it's
World War II.
Abrams or something?
What?
Abrams or something?
No, it's
Those are like, those are modern, right?
Yeah, no, it's a small one. Technically, it's a tank destroyer, so like if it got hit by something, like it would be close. It's not that
There must have been
you know,
something else.
But yeah, it's
So it's
pretty
like,
cool. And it's pretty fast for a tank. Like he's driving it around and like it's cruising along like I don't know. It's
That'll give me some more context.
Like
Okay.
for one of those things.
maybe it's supposed to be
Like I said,
confusing.
advances,
That
right?
small bit wasn't so bad.
Yeah, once you get into general.
I'm sure it does.
Regular expression
Maybe
knowledge,
it takes
it's really
longer.
I don't think I can explain regular, like, I don't know enough to give somebody about it all.
I want to ask you this question. Oh yeah. Yes, and it's on a post about Blast CSS, right?
Yes.
Do you guys have any other like separating CSS files because I need to
Oh, yeah, no, we run into that. Well, so
Yeah,
in
32.
production we don't, right?
It's all over.
30 files, 4K, selected.
Yeah, it's 31 when it's over, yeah.
Yeah, the
30
issue thing too is
30
like, it's like 30, 32 or whatever, but 31, but you could have like, that stop you could then include other stuff. So it's like 31 each song.
Oh, the import.
Or yeah, import, yeah.
Doesn't jump into the So I don't care about number of files. We want to keep that low.
Yeah.
But then you hit the selector problem.
That's what we hit. So
We haven't.
You're not seeing that yet.
I don't, I mean, we
Yeah,
wouldn't
just-
know.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well, the way
Is 99 affected by it still?
yes. Wait.
I didn't think so, but
I thought it was 9.
I wasn't then.
Yeah, because I went to go pull up lesscss.org. Like, they specifically say even after all these years, and like oh, it's Google.
Yeah, I know that 9 still has the 31 limit as far as files.
My computer. I can live in Google. My canaries are freaking out on URLs.
That's nice.
Nothing works.
Angular destroys browsers too. .com. Scroll down. There's a little. Yeah, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So we try to combine all of our static assets into single resources. And then we added jQuery Mobile, which has like
Yeah.
thousands of. We backed up on that. Actually,
Yeah, don't bring in jQuery mobile.
history.
Learn from it, but don't
We ended up building they have a little deployer builder thing that you can build subset of it. There's alpha, we use that.
Because
But even
jQuery
that's-
mobile does like weird stuff for Opera Mini and stuff. It's like, I don't need half my code to support this stupid browser.
Yeah, and you know what
Yeah.
else it does? Is it starts jacking crap into your DOM just for loading it. You know, there's like elements that show up. What is this? It's not just widgets and styles. It's like a whole framework. Anyway, so we added it, and this is when you said we wouldn't know if it's broken. This is what really kills us is like it just stops interpreting selectors. It just stops silently, no warning. So stuff like some stuff appears unstyled and some stuff doesn't.
Yeah.
So you start searching for the stuff that's unstyled to figure out what broke about it, and you delete a few lines and everything's back. And you're like, oh, that must be the code that's broken. Turns out you could have deleted any lines.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So this is what we did. This actually breaks. That's pretty cool actually. It parses your CSS, finds the 4095th selector, and then breaks down into subsequent files, and then throws an add import to the top of your file.
I'm sure we could.
Yeah, we probably have. I mean, I know we did the file thing in development.
It's not hard.
We just don't know that we did this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just some stuff isn't.
Yeah, and it might just be on like some pages too, right? Because we
Yeah.
have different pages pulling different additional style sheets. So
You have.
Yeah, we should throw.
We're not quite big enough to organize a separate them like that. Actually, we can have some stuff. But it doesn't.
We load
that
in
doesn't
probably
matter
12
as much.
style sheets.
That doesn't really, having multiple style sheets is not even as bad. Especially when you have one big one. Anyway, I just wondered if we were insane for doing this. But I've asked a couple people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I always do that." Jeez.
At least now you know.
Yeah, now I know. I wish I didn't know.